The best way to get better at something is to practice. And in this example, we're going to be modifying our style sheet, adding new selectors so we can fix some of the styles the issues that we had in our last example. These files are available for download using the link provided below in the description. We'll pause for about 5 seconds so you can pause this video and you can then download that file and choose to either follow along or attempt on your own and then check your answer. All right, so let's get started. We're going to need to work on our CSS file, so I'm going to come over here and open this up. You'll see here I have a list of to-dos I need to get done, and they are all listed inside of a CSS comment. So let's see what we're going to need to do. The first thing we're going to need to do is add an article selector. I like my HTML body and body up at the top, so then I'm going to add my article here. So we've created this selector. Now we need to go in and give it some values. Specifically, we're going to give it a border and a border radius. So let's define our border radius first. You can see as I start typing border, border radius comes up. And I'm going to choose that's going to be a 15 pixel border. This is 15 pixels all the way around, and it just gives a rounded edge, so we're not looking at such square things. Now, we don't see our border radius unless we either have a background color and or a border associated with this. So we're going to give a border to this, and we're going to simply specify border. This will be all the way around. We need 3 things: the color, the style, and the size of our border. So I'm going to choose a simple 1 pixel border. It's going to be solid, and I'm going to choose it to be a dark gray but not a black. So I'm going to do #333. This is the same color and style I did for my footer, except notice there I did it for border dash top, so it was only for the top. The next thing I want to do is I want to select the header tag, but have the header tag for only if I'm in the article. So we have our header down below, you can see, and this is for all header tags. So how do I make something that's for the header for my article? Well, I'm going to simply say article space header. Now what this is doing is saying, hey, if I'm a header inside of an article tag, put my curly braces, and now I need to define my rule set. So what types of rule sets would I be looking at? Well, I want to center my text. That's the first thing. So I'm going to do text, align, and choose center. That's the first thing I'm going to do. The second thing I'm going to do is I don't really want that bright red. Okay, so I'm going to choose to have it be a light gray. So I'm going to choose background color. And I'm going to do EEE. That's something I used before down in the footer. So this may work for us. And then I'll need to define my color, which is my foreground color. For my color, I'm going to put black, 000. Okay. So now I've defined my color, my alignment, and the background color. These are things I'm looking for. Finally, I want to apply something to the article-meta class. So I need to first create my selector for that. So I'm going to do dot article-meta. So I want to make this a slightly lighter color. So I'm going to choose the #333. This is because it's not as important, and I can choose to make this darker if I want to or not. I'm also going to choose my font size, and I'm going to shrink it just a little bit. So I'm going to say 0.9 rem. That's about 90% of my size of my text. Not a big difference, not like my 80% for my footer. This is 90%. I still want it to be seen in red. I just don't want it as visible. I'm going to come over here to 4-03, Reveal in File Explorer. Now when I load this file, you'll notice that the background for my header is no longer red. It stands out, it's visible, but it's not annoyingly so, as you see here. We also see a slight border around this. Now you might go, wait a second, my border disappears on my sides. How do I fix this? Well, this is where we use our padding and our margins as we described in our previous examples in section 3. So what we can do just real quickly, come in here, I'm going to choose my main, I'm going to say max width, 960 pixels. Now, some people like a relative max width. Some people like this one. This is a pretty standard size. This is going to shrink the information I have in here. For my article header, I'm going to choose a padding. Choose 5 pixels all the way around. If I switch back to my web page, you see now I have information. It's not centered. We have to work on that. But you can see how my text is appearing. Now, if I want to center this, it's real easy. Go back to my editor and my main, margin, auto. Auto margin is only for left and right, and it says split my margin so it's the same. Go back to my web page, and you can see this now. In my article, I might choose to say, you know what, I want to add some padding for my content, and I could look at how to do that. Maybe by adding and making it a section or some other value. So in our next video, we're going to use sections and asides to show you how we can do that and make it easier to read this text and provide additional text and information about our article.